that assumes you can get another cell phone or have
Oh,
access to a different phone. Some of us one phone people don't have that luxury to find it when we can't find it.
oh, yeah. Yeah, it whatever works. The way I try to look at it. But anyway, want to say hello to everyone and welcome to our weekly Lions Club meeting. It is time, and I need to pull my script out here. Oh yes, it says call to order the oldest Lions Club in the world. So I've had wonderful weeks of practice, so I'm getting pretty good at it. So again, it's time to begin. So thank you for joining us. I'm Rudy Munguia, the president of the Lions Club. And Chuck Mandelbaum is our host today. So Chuck, you are on stage to remind us about our Zoom procedures, please.
The only procedure we have is if you're not speaking, please mute yourself so we don't get any background noises. Otherwise, that's pretty much it.
Great, great. Thank you so much. It's always good to be reminded. And to give everybody a chance to practice what you just reminded us about, we are going to ask that everyone mute themselves. I will lead the pledge today. And if you will stand as you're able, we will say together the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the pledge to the Texas flag. The words are on the screen, so I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now a pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Yeehaw!
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. All right. We are always happy to have everybody be with us and are especially happy about any guests that may join us. And so if you will, if you have a guest today, would you signify by raising your hand and we will try to recognize the guest. Anyone?
Sid has a guest.
We have Kit Thompson's a guest of Sid and I, and he and his wife are preparing their applications to join the club.
Yay!
Hey. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you,
Sid.
for joining our guests that are joining us today. I think I saw another hand. I'm sorry, John. Yeah, I see your hand up.
Yes, my guest is Raasin Mcintosh, our speaker today. I will give a proper introduction at the program time. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. And we look forward to our program and to our speaker. And we, John will give a more appropriate introduction and as we get into the agenda. Yeah, JP?
Rudy, we have a guest member that we haven't seen in a while. Linda's joined us today.
Yes, yes. Linda, we are so happy that you're able to join us today. We're aware of your situation that came about because of the winter February storm and how things just have gotten turned upside down for you. So so happy that you're joining us today. I think you're muted, but we yeah, there we go. Get a good thumbs up. Good to see Linda. Anyone else joining us today? All right. I believe we're good to go then. All right. Getting back to the agenda then, let's see, we have some announcements. And the first announcement has to do with a service project that LCI has sent out to all the clubs. Our District 2S3 district, Governor Gary Fox has sent email to all the clubs, including our club, and it's called the Million Meal Challenge. It's a service project that LCI is wanting to put together. And let's see, I have a visual on that. I don't know if that's going to work, if Chuck or, there we go. There is this project is being put together by LCI as part of the LCI convention in June. And you can see a little bit about what it says there. This project is called the Million Meal Challenge. And as you may be able to read through that, it says the project can be actual meals served. That would be meals served by our club members, food supplied to a food bank, distribution work at a food bank, or any other project that assists in providing meals. And the idea, I think if I skipped over part of it, is that the reporting must translate your project into a metric that designates the number of meals served. So I feel that we want to be supportive of our District 2 S3 effort to help out with it. And so we, as a Austin Founder Lions Club, are going to be participating we received this just a few days ago, and there may be a short fuse as if we need to look at the million meals prior to the June 25th LCI convention. Yeah, JP, do you have something else to add, please?
Well, it was announced at the district convention this past Saturday that any project that relates to feeding the hungry would qualify. And we certainly believe that loading the cars for the volunteers to deliver meals at Meals on Wheels is a clear qualifier, just like a food bank would be. So we have a built-in
Yeah, that's great.
Project to report. We just need to quantify it.
Well, there we go. There we go. So
And anything else that we might elect to do on over and above that.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to, well, thank you, first of all, for that information. I wanted to bring this to the attention of the club in case any of our members would be interested in extending what we have already done and are already doing. And if you would so note in the chat, if you would make a note of it, that you're involved with, you know, whatever other similar feeding those that are in need, serving meals or being a part of it, if you would so designate, and then we might look at making all of that part of what we send to the district and then to the LCI.
And the project reporting can extend up to late June, right before the international convention.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. Well, I'm just going to leave
Rudy?
it there with just that little bit of information. Yeah, Gaylor.
As it relates to JP's excellent suggestion, which was what I was raising my hand for also, to see if we couldn't use Meals on Wheels. I wonder if the next time we volunteer, we keep a rough count of the number of meals that we load during our service that morning and use that as kind of an average, but that would quantify it, as JP says, and for us to meet that, and that'd be easy to do. That we usually have two people that kind of handling the numbers to tell us slow mind, strong back people how many to load. And that way we would be able to quantify it. And that's a significant number, because we would get up into well into three figures, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Tommy, I
Gaylord,
see your hand up.
Gaylord,
Yeah.
we also have a built-in number for that. The driver who comes up says they need 7 bags or 10 bags or however many clients they're serving. So we will have that number.
Yeah, that would be easier to collect that information. Tommy, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did. I had to step away from your Zoom meeting here for a few minutes. I realized the subject. Are you including, Rudy, the meals that we delivered to the 6 schools in this count or this activity? And we do have the numbers on those, and I figured out what they're ordering and the size of the meal and the size of the sandwich and what's on it. So
exactly.
Will that work? Those 6 schools, and we have one I think tomorrow with Wadane. So we'll have all 6 done here by the end of next week.
Excellent, excellent. That's another source that we might want to add to what this service project is all about. So
and we can retroactively add the schools that we've already serviced.
Excellent. Yeah. In any case, it seems like we are going to be well represented in offering what we are already doing in this project. But if anyone else has some connection, some ties with other similar food service or food distribution in our community, again, I invite you to write that down on the chat. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you so much. Last week, I made a brief announcement that the community and society and our general situation seems to be slowly moving to where we can say normal public connections again. And I announced that I was wanting to form a committee, and that has now taken place. And Mac Ragsdale is the chair of that committee. And Mac, if you will have a few minutes and give us an update on what the committee is doing and what it looks like for our club.
Yeah, Rudy. Well, when Rudy called and said that there was some interest in us all getting back together in person, so the committee got together, and the committee consists of Leonore and Ann Ward, Patty Robinson, and Glenda Summers, and myself. So we all got together and explored a number of things. I'll have to say that what it all came down to, just to put it in a nutshell, was that TSBVI, our home, is happy to have us come back when they have visitors back on campus, which is not now, and they don't know when. So kind of really can't speculate on that, and they won't hazard a guess. So we talked about a number of things, but what we decided was that, well, there's an interest. If the interest is in socializing, that we could try to do that. So there's going to be a poll that'll come out here in a day or so to gauge all the members' interests in getting together socially, so that at least on an occasional basis, we could keep up our social contacts. And that would may or may not have a guest speaker. Speakers get a little more problematic because you got to have all the technology and things like that. But, maybe we could do something along those lines. But watch your emails. There'll be a poll here in a day or two, and we'll try to see who all is interested, what your interest level is.
All right. Well, thank you, Mac, and thank you and the committee for putting this together and helping us to stay updated with what is available in terms of meeting places and a timeline when we might be feeling a little bit that it might be time to maybe meet, to extend our Zoom meetings and approach it that way. But thank you so much, Mac. And everyone, let's be on the lookout for what Mac was announcing. that there may be a poll coming out, and we'll be getting emails about that. So, all right, we're ready to move on. Birthdays. Oh my goodness, who would plan his birthday so that his birthday falls on the day our Lions Club is meeting? And this, so who else but Mr. Bill Martin? Bill, March the 6th, I see, is your magic birthday date. Is that correct?
May the 6th. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
thank you,
May
Rudy.
the 6th. That's what I wanted to say.
Right.
May the 6th.
Now, I'm not telling my age, but in September, I hope to be attending my 70th high school reunion.
Wow.
And in June, I hope to be celebrating my 61st wedding anniversary.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Well, congratulations. Yeah, congratulations to Bill. And, you know, he's not given his age, but we can assume it's over 39.
Well, he
So,
graduated
all right.
high school when he was 9 years old.
Yeah, he was a boy genius.
there you go. Thanks.
All right. Well, happy birthday to Bill today, especially. And then another birthday that we want to recognize is on May the 9th. And Roberto Martinez is the lucky guy on May the 9th. So Roberto, happy birthday to you. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I think I just unmute myself. Yeah,
All right.
and I just turned 38 too myself.
You're in that age range. Okay, well,
Yeah.
it's all fun, and we can all be thankful that we're helping you celebrate another birthday.
Thank you.
All right. Want to take a moment to present or to announce some service awards. And again, I'm going to ask Chuck if he would put up on the screen. These are 10-year. Want to recognize some of our Lions that are celebrating or that are observing 10 years as a Lions Club member. And they're on the screen. I know the lettering is very small, but it is a certificate, a Chevron Award presented by LCI. And this is coming from the international president, Dr. Jong-Yul Choi, and to recognize for 10 years of being a Lion. And this particular certificate that is on the screen is for Lion Lamar Urbanovsky. So congratulations to Lamar. But we have two other recipients in our club that are also that I want to recognize for their 10 years of being a Lion, and our own secretary, Leonor. So congratulations to Lion Leonor, and one more also to Lion Craig Estes. So Lion Craig Estes is also being recognized, and so it's not quite so magic for me to give it to the screen and you'll automatically receive the award, the hard copy on your end of it. So we'll depend on US mail, and so it will be coming sometime in the next few days. But congratulations to Lion Lamar, Lion Leonor, and Lion Craig. So we'll do appreciate your service these many years. All right. And now we are moving on and wanted to recognize Lion John Wisser. He will be doing a member profile today. So I do appreciate that. And Lion John, would you go ahead, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
That's probably unfortunate. This is a little embarrassing having to follow Tommy Tommy Cowan and all his involvement, but Mim sent me a list of things I should talk about. First, where did I come from? I had the misfortune to be born in New York City, but I actually never lived there. As soon as I was born, my parents moved down south, and I grew up in Georgia, Arkansas, but predominantly Texas.
Misfortune to be born in New York City? No, that's not a misfortune. I was born there.
I got out of there as soon as I could. But I went to high school in San Antonio and then came to the university and did my 4 years there. Then was in the military for a couple of years, spent a unpleasant 9 months at Fort Hood, Texas, and a even less pleasant 13 months in Vietnam. And after 2 years in the Army, the only thing I knew for sure was I was getting out before they got me killed. But I wasn't interested in working. And I wasn't really interested in much of anything, but one of my roommates as an undergraduate had gone to law school, one had gone to graduate school. One who went to law school said the co-eds prefer guys who are in law school over graduate students. You'll do better with the women, we have better parties. And that was all I needed, so I applied and got accepted by the University of Texas Law School. I had never known a lawyer and never been in a courthouse, and marched off to law school to become a lawyer. I always envied those people who from very early in their life knew what they wanted to do and where they're headed. To this day, I'm still waiting to figure out what I want to do and where I'm headed. But anyway, I went to law school. Coming out of law school, took a job in Dallas, went up to Dallas a weekend or two before I was supposed to report to the law firm, drove around and said, I can't live in a city this big with all these cars. Went down and took a job in Austin. Of course, now Austin is about twice the size that Dallas was when I said I can't live in a city like this. So I don't know what that says about where I'll be in the future. But I then went to work in the prosecutor's office. After a couple of years, one of my friends said he was going to run for judge. Actually, he and I started a law firm. And he said he was going to run for county judge and get publicity for our law firm. And I said, well, I'll run for judge too. If both of us running, we'll get twice as much publicity and we'll have lots of clients. Neither of us expected that we'd win, but I don't know, not a good reflection on the voters of Travis County. Somehow they elected both of us. I became a justice of the peace for Southwest Austin, Precinct 3. He became the county judge, Mike Renfro. And it was after, as a JP, I was told I should join a lot of civic organizations, get involved in the community. It helped me politically. For reasons that I don't recall now, I joined something called the Sertoma Club, which I'm not even sure they exist anymore. But soon thereafter, I met a very interesting fellow, Father Fred Bomar, the Monsignor Fred Bomar. He was very active in the Lions Club, and he became the president. And I think one of the things you have to do as president is to bring in at least one new member. So I know Tommy and JP remember Monsignor Bomar. I don't know if anyone else. I don't know if you can see that. Probably can't see the photo. I'm actually holding up a photo, but you can't see it. The Monsignor. And I thought all Catholic priests were sort of took vows of poverty, but Monsignor Bomar did not take that vow, because the way I initially met him, he owned rental property next to the rental property I owned, which I found shocking that a priest owned a lot of rental property. Then I found out he had a really nice high-speed speedboat out at the lake, and he had beautiful automobiles. He was a wealthy priest, which I thought might be an oxymoron. But anyway, when he was president, he talked me into joining the Lions Club, and this was about 1978. Then he persuaded me that I should get in line to move up. So back in that time, I think there were over 200 members of the Lions Club. I remember one of my initial meetings, the speaker was the governor of the state of Texas. I think it was Bill Clements. But we really had an impressive array of speakers. We had a lot of very impressive members. There were several other judges who were members. At that time, every bank made all their junior bank officers join the Lions Club. So about probably 30 to 40% of the members were all junior officers at all the local banks, which are now all national banks. So it was pretty impressive. And I gradually worked my way as a director a couple of years. Then I was a assistant tail twister, then assistant lion tamer. It took a while back then to work your way to the top because we had so many members. But eventually I worked my way somehow up to the top. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, that was in 1984 and 85. I don't know if anyone other than JP or Tommy even remember way back then. Is there anyone else who was a member of the Lions Club here back in 84? I think they've all either moved on one way or the other. But unfortunately, after my presidency, my involvement diminished tremendously. I was also the president of the South Austin Civic Club, and that took up some time after I was the president of the Lions Club. And I had a lot of jobs in addition to my full-time judicial job. I was performing a lot of weddings every weekend. In fact, I have 2 weddings tomorrow, and they're going to be numbers 9003 and 9004. And I just glanced at my calendar and I noticed in October, every one of my weekends has at least 1 and sometimes 2 weddings. And it's been that way since 1975. So I generally perform weddings about 48 to 50 weekends out of every year. And that somehow restricts my activity. In addition, I own rental property, which further restricts my rental property since I manage and do all the maintenance on that. Then I have my job as a judge. Then I have a job at the Texas Department of Insurance as an arbitrator. So when you add all those things together, that may be 70 or 80 hours a week, which is the excuse I use for not being more involved. My only, I'd say, recent involvement, a few years ago, I cut roses and did some work on the rose project. And as of late, I've now done the Meals on Wheels and intend to continue doing that into the future. I also hope to start going to more meetings in the future.
980115. Call from 062.
Okay. But anyway, that's sort of my profile, and hope to see everyone more in the future. Did anyone have a question?
Are you
Hey,
guys
Judge,
calling each other?
I wonder if you have any statistics of those 9,000 weddings you have done, how many of them have stuck?
Now, what's the retention rate?
I would say actually the divorce rate has dropped now since people no longer get married. They just have children. So I'm not seeing as many as I used to, but almost every week I was assigned to the divorce docket. I would encounter people whose weddings I performed. Wow. There's one woman who I've done her weddings 2 times and her divorces twice, and she has the record. But I'm now doing weddings, not only, I'm doing for the people's grandparents. Someone contacted me this week whose wedding I had done 42 years ago and wanted me to do their grandchild's wedding. So that's nice. One reason I sort of became a retired or senior judge, I'd always set a goal when I'd sent 10,000 people to prison. I thought that would be the time to stop. So when I hit that mark, I thought, yeah, I don't want to go to 20,000. I'm going to quit now.
John, I think everybody would be interested in some of the places where you've conducted ceremonies underwater, scuba diving off the Congress Avenue Bridge, bungee jumping, some other kind of unique places of weddings. You care to share any of those?
Sure, I've done them in airplanes. I've done them on hot air balloons. As you said, I did it 40 feet underwater at Windy Point. That one made CNN, and my parents up in Minnesota even saw me coming out of the water in my wetsuit after doing it.
Wow.
Actually, Lake Travis is allegedly the best scuba diving place in the state of Texas because the wet water is supposed to be so clear, but it's really not that clear. My big fear was dropping the rings and they would disappear into the murk and never be seen again. And I would have to pay for more rings. But fortunately, that didn't occur. Another interesting, as soon as I did that wedding, about an hour later, I had a wedding at what was a famous restaurant called Green Pastures. And from Windy Point to Green Pastures is a good haul. So I hopped out of the water in my scuba wetsuit, ran to my car, took it off, put on a suit, my hair still streaming water, and drove like a crazy person downtown the South Austin to Green Pastures to perform another wedding. And I walked in there and my hair was all wet and I didn't dry it. I just sort of, I think people thought I was perspiring a lot. The water was running down my face. But anyway.
Yeah, well,
I don't
thank
think
you
that
so
went-
much. Yeah, thank you so much for that. We need to pursue and follow up with this. There's a lot of interesting and fascination in the stories and in your background. But for right now, I'm afraid we're going to have to call time. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for your member profile. That was most fascinating. And so let us move on to our main program and our speaker. And let me ask Lion John Niffler if you would proceed, please.
I will be happy to do so. Thank you very much. We are honored today to have as our guest Raasin Mcintosh. Raasin is an Austin resident and a Houston native. She is CEO of and creative director of Raasin in the Sun, a nonprofit organization that is focused on service to the community through the arts and environmental initiatives. You have seen some of those initiatives as you have driven through our community here in Austin. They are visible to see. Raasin is an All-American athlete. She is a varsity track and field athlete from the University of Texas at Austin. She has been an Olympian and represented the United States in international competition. Her education includes a BA in communication from the University of Texas in Austin. And I would say also that along with former Governor Bill Clements, Raasin is, in addition, one of those principal and impressive among the array of Lions speakers of the past. Raasin would have you and me join with her to rise and shine and to be the light today for a brighter tomorrow. And so please help me make welcome Raasin Mcintosh.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, John Nieffler, for that introduction. I am super excited to be here today and to be a part of the Lions Club. I want to start off by saying happy birthday to, I believe it's Bill Martin and Roberto Martinez, because my birthday was April 29th. And you guys are fellow Taurians in May. So also my father is in May as well. So I wanted to send a shout out to say happy birthday to you guys as well. I wanted to thank the judge for sharing those stories about his journey. I thought it was super inspiring. I like to hear from a lot of elders and people that have done tremendous work in the community and for our city. I think it's very much important for our generation to kind of lend a listening ear and to kind of get inspired to continue the torch and to continue to do inspiring things for others as well. So thank you, Judge, for those stories. So I'm not gonna hold you guys too long. I think John just told me to kind of talk a little bit about my journey. and how I got started, and then a little bit about the current work that we're doing with Raisin in the Sun, and different ways that we would like to continue to do the work in the future. So I guess I'll start off by saying I am from Houston, Houston, Texas, neighborhood by the name of Sunnyside neighborhood, adjacent to 3rd Ward, because in Houston on the east side, it goes 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th Ward all the way down. And Sunnyside is like the initial place that starts before the wards. And that's where I was raised. I went to Westbury High School and Johnston Middle School. And I started off as a creative and a musician. I played the tenor sax, and I would carry the tenor sax around middle school and elementary, and it was almost as big as I was. And so my dad, who is an artist, he painted signs, he's a woodworker in the community of Houston. He always encouraged me to be involved in the performing arts and the visual and the music arts. And so that's how I got started. And so getting started in the music, I was in middle school, and I ended up somehow getting involved in cross country. And so the very first cross country meet I ran, I won city. And that's how I got into sports with cross country and basketball. And I ended up putting down the tenor sax because I would get teased a lot, and it was a lot bigger than I was. And I just started focusing in on academics and athletics, which led me to a few state championships. I think our team won 4 in a row. And then individually, I won state 2 years in a row with some records. And it led me to a full scholarship to University of Texas. And so ever since then, I've been here in Austin around 2000, around 1999, 2000. And I've just been, digging my feet in the ground, going to UT, learning all about community in the city of Austin, academically as well as athletically. And, they say in Texas, or at University of Texas, what starts in Texas changes the world. And so ended up being an NCAA champion, All-American, continued that on throughout Texas, through the University of Texas, and went to the Olympics, and kind of left Austin in 2006, came back in 2010, trained for the Olympics, the London Olympics, went to the London Olympics, came back in 2012, and I decided to retire from track. After I retired from track, it seems like I started going back to my roots of what my dad instilled in me with the arts, right? And so I was wondering how I could get involved in the community and really give back in a really major way. And so hence I started Raisin in the Sun. And so Raisin in the Sun is a nonprofit organization very focused on the arts and environmental initiatives, right? It's urban beautification and creative placemaking within communities to kind of bring people together to inspire and to unite, restore communities. And so that's how I started Raisin in the Sun after the Olympics. And so we started, my partner and I, on the east side around 2012, 2013 is when we started. I put the link of our organization into the chat. You guys can feel free to visit the website or our Instagram as I'm talking if you would like to see some of the projects that we're doing. So once Raisin in the Sun started, I started on grassroots. I just went in the community and figured out how I could immediately give back without no money, any money. We were still gaining volunteers and support. We had a website and Instagram page, but not really enough funds. So we just did a community cleanup. And so the first community cleanup was on 12th and Chacon, and I thought maybe 20, 25 people showed up. Well, the first community cleanup, we had over 100 volunteers show up. And so we really had a lot of pouring in and support from the local churches and the schools and all of the organizations there really showed a lot of support there. So we continue to do multiple cleanups around the area. And then we did Wilhelmina Delco and her husband Exalted Delco. We raised $5 grand, partnered with LGI Homes and beautified their house, repainted, planted trees, garden. We redid, power washed her whole house and just kind of refaced her entire exterior. And that was an amazing project and she was super excited. So we were really hitting the ground with very small projects and understanding how to get the community involved with giving, raising money, challenging other companies and organizations to give, to really help community members within the community in the neighborhood. So that was the very first beginning stages. Then we kind of evolved into this art, like environmental art organization through mural projects. And so last year we did a high school mural, or about a year or two ago, we did a high school citywide mural contest. And we had over 100 high school artists sign up to paint on 12th and Chicon, a wall that we kind of solidified and got for that one particular high school artist. And we got judges to kind of pick apart which high schooler to pick. And we did get one high schooler by the name of Jewel Salazar. I think she attended Bowie High School somewhere up north. And her mural still stands today. It's the Unity mural, and it is there off 12th and Chicon. I think you might be able to see her mural still on our website as well. But that was the very beginning of our mural projects. And then after that, we just kind of soared. Our biggest and latest mural project is called the Be Well Murals. And the Be Well Murals is, they're calling it the Grand Canyon of murals. Last month, we got Best of Austin Monthly, Best of ATX. So if you guys are in town, visit Lamar Street and 5th Street, or Lamar Boulevard and 5th Street, right near the Whole Foods there. And if you go underneath the Lamar underpass, there's a plethora of murals that we curated to really bring light to the mental health and help people to come out of the pandemic with a new frame of mind, a new start, and to really focus on the wellness of our city. And so if you get a chance, it's called the Be Well Murals, go past there. We were able to commission 6 artists. And so it's just flooded with art. And so if you have grandkids or children that you want to bring out, I would encourage you to visit that as well. Our most recent one that we're working on now, the project, is called the Resilience Project on E.M. Franklin between MLK and Manor. And what that is basically a cultural awareness, a hyper-local mural project that we have highlighted about 15 community advocates of that area of African-American descent that has put in and been community advocates and done things past and present for the community. And since there's a lot of rapid change going on right now on the East Side, I think it was really needed to bring projects to light that highlights the culture and the authentic culture of the area, so people can learn about the history and learn about folks that have been in the community before they came. And so that is called the Resilience Project. It is set to unveil May 16th. And so with John's permission, I will be delighted to share the invite with you guys to come out to that unveiling. Everybody will be COVID safe, and you'll get to hear a lot of faces from that mural. I think it would be kind of cool for y'all to see it. John, do you think I can get permission to show? Yes? Okay. Let me see if I can or not.
Sure, that would be fine. Thank you.
Okay.
You have permission. You can share screen.
Yes, sir. Okay, so this is the Resilience Mural Project on E.M. Franklin. And basically it's 14, it spells out resilience, and in each word, a letter, there's a face of a person that was a community advocate. And so at the end, you have a little excerpt about the hyperlocal and the African-American contributions of the MLK neighborhood. So that's our last project there. So, and then here's the Be Well murals here. This is our last mural project here. And this is us underneath the underpass before it was done. As you can see how large it is if you go in. And these are the artists that we hired, commissioned. And this was the wall before it started. Here's another picture of one of the murals. Are you guys able to see that? All right. All right, I'm not gonna bore you too much longer. I'm gonna shut it down in a minute. But yeah, so I'll stop it right there. But yeah, so that is a little bit of what we're doing with Raisin in the Sun. Like I said, we are a 501c3 nonprofit. So we are looking to raise money to do more community initiatives and also looking to partner with amazing organizations like yourself. I've heard so many wonderful things about you guys from John. And so really, really looking to learn a little bit more about you guys, and also to looking to just do more work in the community and uplift the stories within the community as well. So hopefully, thank you for your time. I don't want to take too much of your time. I want to open it up for questions, if you guys have any.
Well, thank you. First of all, this is Rudy, the president. So I just want to say thank you for sharing that great story about the murals and what beauty they add to our community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and so if you're open, if you're okay with opening to questions, those that may have a question, if you'll raise your hand and direct your question to Raisin, please.
Raisin, Glenda Summers. First of all, thank you. The murals are fantastic, and I want to go see them all.
Yes.
Can we also see them on Instagram? Did I see Instagram in the background?
Yes, ma'am. So if you look, I dropped in an Instagram link. And if you want to click on that link that says Instagram at the top, you'll see all of our projects for the last 3 to 4 years, actually. So you'll be able to, and we try to put the location of each mural. I think we've done at least 15 to 20 murals around the city. So yeah, and also too, feel free to reach out to John. He has my information. Please email me if you want to see any particular mural and you don't know how to get to the location, let me know.
Well, thank you again. It's beautiful, beautiful. Enjoyed it so much.
Thank you so much. Mrs. Summers.
Gaylord and then Ann Ward.
Yes, those murals and the work you've done require a lot of talent, and you've been very active a long time. How did you develop that talent? And the second question, how many of the artists you use are volunteers, and are they artists as background, or where do you get so much talent to do such quality work?
I think that's a great question. I think being a visionary is a gift that I have, in understanding that there's a connection there with a lot of creatives that want to do stuff for the community, but there's just not nothing in between to kind of help direct and create the projects and opportunities. And so I understood that early on coming off the Olympics. And so I wanted to create an organization that could benefit and do good things for the community, and then also commission amazing and talented artists and creatives to come together and do something really, really powerful. So the artists just follow us. I mean, if you follow our Instagram, we have a powerful network of creatives, not just muralists, but we have photographers, content videographers, we have musicians, you know, all sorts of creatives, so that when we're ready to do these events for the community, they're ready to go. So I think that's an amazing question, but I think it's just a blessing to be able to say, hey, we're going to do an artist call, and in 1 week we get over 100 artists that apply to be a part of the project.
Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Gaylord, Mr. Gaylord.
Raisin, hello, this is Ann Ward. Could you talk to us a little bit about your funding and where it comes from? Do you get grants from arts organizations, or and are these artists that do the murals? You kept using the terminology that you commissioned, so it sounds kind of like maybe they got paid something for doing the work, and the work is beautiful. So thank you very much for doing it.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Another great question. So we have an entire pie of different ways that we get funding. A lot of it is through grant fundings, right? So we just got a grant for from the Philadelphia Mural Arts Institute last year. And so they've been working with us for a total of 2 years to do 2 projects. And so they're going to be funding our organization to help us to build capacity to commission creatives here in Austin. So that's just one way. Be Well was actually commissioned by the economic department of the city of Austin. So the city of Austin commissioned us to curate something at the Lamar underpass. They didn't know what it was. They said, hey, we've been following your organization. We want to support, and we want the art organization as well as the creatives during the pandemic to have some kind of employment. Do what you have the autonomy to do it, do it. And so we just created Be Well Murals, and we ended up putting out the artist call. And then I would also like to say that we do person to person, or just, you know, we want to do a project. Sometimes we just ask people for money. Hey, we want to do this project. If you can donate some money so that we can make this project happen, then it has definitely benefited us in that way as well. We've done a number of projects to where, you know, we just said, hey, we don't have the funds necessarily to do it, but we really want to do it. So could you donate? And then last, I would say there is an incredible amount of funding through fundraisers and events. We haven't tapped in it just yet, but the one fundraiser we had last year, we raised 10 grand. So we're just, every year, we're trying to have these different end of the year gala or fundraisers to just raise enough money to build capacity, right? And so, but that perfect, I love that question, because that to us is learning the multiple facets of fundraising to help us to build capacity to do more projects.
Shirley, go ahead, and then Roberto.
Thank you. Thank you. This is really inspiring. To be inspired is one thing, but to be tenacious enough to create something that's going to work, that is great.
Thank you,
it's a double-headed sword that double-sided sword that you're working with, and you've got it under control. But I'm always concerned when I see these murals, and I've seen them in other cities, they have paint splashed on them. Is there some type of a cover sealer so it can be washed off, that it does not adhere?
Yes, so are you talking more so about graffiti or tagging mitigation, or are you talking more so about
Just plain
general?
damage or tagging, either one.
Yes,
Any type
so
of-
that's great. I love that. We're working right now to pull together a program that's going to be able to mitigate tagging, right? So we're just going to be an organization that people call on, even if they do their own mural project and they end up getting tagged. We want to be able to give a maintenance program option to come in within 48 hours and either repair that mural or to figure out a way to paint over it a clear coat to where even if it does get tagged, it's a matter of washing it off. So I think it's a number of things. Yes, I think it's better to have that clear coating, but if you know anything about clear coating graffiti tagging, it's extremely expensive. Sherwin-Williams, if you look at it, it's really expensive. So a lot of people just put the paint on the wall if they don't do the maintenance, which is the clear coating. And because they do that, if they get tagged, they end up having to really repair that section of the mural, and it could get expensive as well. So yes, we're working on that right now, Mrs. Dillman, because I think if you haven't noticed around the city, there is a uprising of graffiti and tagging going on right now. And so this is what I want Raisin and the Sun to really bring to the city as well, is out or a solution to the tagging that's going on right now.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Roberto, go ahead, unmute, please.
Yeah, Roberto, can you hear? We cannot hear you.
Well, you want me to answer? There's a question in the chat as well.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Martinez.
Can you unmute me?
Yes,
Can you hear
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking the next project could be around the school for the blind area. So if your theme is on blindness and there's a Lions logo somewhere there, I'm sure the Lions Club will be able to do something there with you. So work with
awesome.
Mr. Fluger there. Anyway, that was an idea. But
That's
that
an awesome
was a great
idea.
presentation and great
That's
program.
awesome. Thank you, Mr. Mark. That's awesome. I would love to do something for the School of the Blind. I think that's an amazing idea.
You can go ahead and answer the question from the chat, and then I think Steve has, and then we'll back to you, Rudy.
Yeah, I think Mac Ragsdale also has a note about a question. But anyway, go ahead and respond to the chat, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Rudy. Thank you, Mr. Raleigh, for following on Instagram. If you guys have Instagram, please follow on Instagram. Thank you. Second question, what is the medium used on these murals? What kind of paint will withstand the weather? Amazing question. So the general acrylic paint will last you anywhere from 5 years to 10 years of a life for the murals, if you really want it without the sun being too hard on it. But if you like when I was talking about Mrs. Dillman's question, if you do the mural maintenance, if you put the clear coating on it, it lasts a lot longer, probably more like 10 years plus, right? So with that being said, there are multiple forms of mediums for mural and public art installations. You could do what they call polytab or parachute cloth. You can glue the parachute cloth onto the concreted wall and then paint on that. Or you could take the cloth off and have the community paint on it, so it won't be so dangerous to actually install. And once everybody paints on it as it lays flat, then you can install it onto the wall. You can also do plywood brackets or aluminum brackets. If you don't want paint to go on the wall, you can make a bracket there and have the aluminum. I've seen it. You can paint on the aluminum. That way, when you're ready for the mural to come down, you just deinstall it by taking off the panels, the aluminum panels. Also too, you can do, we're working on mosaic. Mosaic murals are pretty permanent, right? So mosaic murals last forever. So it's pretty hard to get mosaic projects going because you have to talk the owner of the wall into having it forever, basically. But that's another way that you could really do murals is through the mosaic arts. And we're working with the mosaic workshop, which I'll tell John about them, and to do some stuff for the Philadelphia Mural Arts Institute that has something to do with mosaic. So that's another one. And then last, I wanted to highlight, you can also do projection murals. So like at nighttime, you can have an installed projection and project a design or image onto a wall. And you could read or rotate those designs or those pictures of stories or whatever have you on a rotating basis, right? And it's a projection. So that's just a few, y'all are good. These are really good questions. Y'all picking my brain, but just a few. So just think of it like this. It doesn't always have to be paint. You see paint behind me? Doesn't have to be acrylic paint all the time or exterior paint. You can do the murals in other ways.
Raasin, excuse me for interrupting, but we are running short of time. Could I ask if you could stay a few minutes longer? We still have a couple of questions, but I need to get back to the agenda for right now.
No, I will definitely stay.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation and sharing the information. So, so if you will please bear with us just for a moment while I get back to the agenda. And so I want to see about next week's, I want to announce next week's program. And I am not sure if who's going to make that announcement. Mac, I may have to call on you again.
Yeah, that's fine. Drew Sheberly has next week, and he wasn't able to attend today, but next week's program is going to feature Caritas and what they do. We'll find out about what they do, and in particular, they have been involved in the homeless issues and helping the homeless and out at Community First and places like that. So should be a good program. See you next week.
It sounds like it will be another great program. But for today, I want to thank everyone that participated. Happy birthday again to our birthday boys. Congratulations again to our 10-year recipient, 10-year of service award recipients. And thank you for everyone that participated and joined us today. Want to just note that on the chat, I noticed that Judy has made a comment or a notation there that she has some experience with homeless and is interested in looking for us to look at it a little bit more closely. So Judy, don't be disappointed that we're not able to give time to it now, but I'll get back with you separately and we'll explore that. I believe that takes care of our agenda and our business for the moment. It's been most informative and always good to see everybody, even by way of Zoom. So for right now, I'm going to close the meeting and let's see, JP, do you have a comment?
For afterward, after we close the meeting, I wanted to ask Raasin one more.
Okay, all right. Raasin has graciously volunteered to stay a few minutes longer. So let me do what I need to do. And we are now adjourned. The meeting is adjourned. And so JP, if you and anyone else that has a question for Raasin, if you will just kind of go ahead and do that directly. Thank you so much for everyone that joined us.
Thank you. We had some people before JP, so I'll keep them in order. So we had Steve Riley, go ahead.
Raasin, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. It's great to see your energy. And, you know, my wife and son and I were downtown a few weeks back. And had we known that mural was there, we would have come on in and
Yes.
seen it. So we're gonna take him down to show it to him. So I'm excited for that. And I guess being a 501, are you able to commission corporate stuff? And then is there currency in doing that? I mean, we're getting all this influx of sort of big creativity, big creative tech coming into Austin.
That is, I love that.
I thought it ties in perfectly to what you're trying to do. And, you know, as you can tell, and you can hear from my, I'm certainly not a native. Right. But, you know, I've always tried to embrace the history of wherever I've moved to. And, you know, it keeps me from getting chased out of town, at least for a little bit. But we've got all these new people coming in. And I think you can give them that background to Austin that a lot of us aren't familiar with. And also event-wise, South by is going to come back. ACL will probably come back in person in the fall. And I don't know if you're able to sort of capitalize on some of that without, you know, violating, you know, you got to make profit, but can you make profit and then just get back into funding what you need? And that way
I think that is excellent, because it's always back at that fine line, right? Because we have that mission and we're 501c3, we want to make sure that every project is really, you know, it's really giving back to the community or highlighting stories of the community or the culture of Austin, right? And so if it ties into the mission, I'm not totally prejudiced as to what monies are coming to us, if that makes any sense. So if you know, what's the new tech company here? I guess if Tesla wants to sponsor a project, is what I'm saying, then I would openly welcome that, as long as we have the autonomy to curate the projects.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think what, you know, inevitably when you're doing advertising or any kind of creative stuff with people who are, you know, stroking checks, it's okay, how much influence ask for. And you know, I do think, and I'm just being completely candid here, I think it would be good PR for any of those companies to just sort of, you know, buckle up with local providers, local people who have this energy, and again, also who have this one degree of history to what the real essence of Austin is. Because I think that's inevitably that duality of, hey, Austin keeps growing, but we're losing.
It's a big thing too. I mean, it's a really, I mean, the culture is slowly being lost, right? And so I think what the point that you brought up is like, it is always on our mind. Like, you know, I'm waiting for that day I can talk to some of these companies and say, hey, you know, this is how you can give back, you know, in a very powerful, meaningful, and creative way, right?
Yeah, I think that's authentic. That's going to look, and I'm all about, you know, I want to be authentic, but I also needed to turn some turnstiles. I need people to buy more Teslas, to buy more Google, whatever. And there's a coexistence that can happen there, I think, an ecosystem. So it's my thought. So.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Raisin. Roberto, and then JP, please.
Sure. Thank you.
The idea of the school for the blind, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the Lions Club, we had a speaker who had limited blindness, and her theme was, due to my limited blindness became my blessing. And so, and Austin having the School for the Blind here has a history there. And the Lions Club we're very much in helping with the blindness. So bring those two teams together. I'm sure John Niffler can give you more ideas. And it would be something that would be welcomed by the club, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And I would also say, Ms. Martinez, that when you drop that, my heart just like, when Raleigh started talking about how we can get companies involved, and when we can do stuff like that for School of Blind, and that's the types of projects we want to do. You know what I mean? We want to have something seriously behind the meaning of it, you know, and the culture of this area. So that is, you're spot on. And so I will definitely, I know John will be following up to see how we can start the steps to getting some beautiful mural there.
Okay.
Thank you.
JP?
Raisin, again, thank you for, is it coming through?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for this exceptionally good presentation and for the obvious passion you have for your work. Mine is more of a comment and then follow up with a partial question. Several years ago, we had the privilege of driving across southern South Dakota and kept seeing signs for the Corn Palace, visit the Corn Palace. So we pulled into the town and located this massive exposition hall where they showcase their agricultural achievements. And the exterior of that building, which is about a 3-story building covering a full block, is a large mural covered with corn, different colors of corn. And the story we heard is each year they have a contest for designing the mural that's going to be on the building that year. They remove all the last year's stuff that the birds haven't eaten already, and replace it with a new mural for that year. And again, the entire building, the whole wall, all 4 sides is covered with corn, colored corn.
I love that.
If you haven't seen that, it was spectacular to us, and you think, mercy, what an off-the-wall medium for artwork. But it's a gigantic mural on that building. I don't know if you've ever considered using corn as your medium, but
well, is it? Can you show it? Oh wow, is that
well,
it?
there's a picture of it. Yes.
Wow. And look at
there's Willie right on the front.
Willie Nelson.
I don't right now recall what the theme was when we were there 10, 11, 12 years ago, but it looks just like that.
Wow, and that's a perfect example of a different medium. Remember, I was talking to you guys about a few that I taught, and he just found a whole nother one. And I really appreciate you for sharing that. Also, I thought too, wouldn't it be powerful to sit down with you guys and for you guys to be on the design committee and the selection committee of a project to select an artist and to figure out what it is that you guys want to see on the wall? I think that would, because you guys have such
our
incredible
inspiration would result in a bunch of stick men.
JP, we have some talented people in our club.
Okay, I'll quit looking in the mirror then.
Talented people. We would love to do that with you.
Thank you. Yes, I would love. Okay, I definitely will keep it in mind.
Yes.
You got John Neefler there, the starter right there.
So if you're ever getting South Dakota, don't miss the Corn Palace.
I won't. I have it down now. I'm gonna look into it. Sir.
Mark Hastings, did you put that screenshot up?
He was the one, yeah.
Okay, well, he should be able to identify the town. I can't remember the name of the town we were in.
Just close it. I can bring it up again.
All right, Mac, do you want to go ahead?
It's Mitchell, South Dakota.
Yeah, Mitchell, South Dakota. That's it. Yeah.
Well, Raisin, I heard you. Well, I'm a retired or semi-retired architect, and we often work with public projects and art in public places. And I heard you said you worked with the city. Was that art in public places?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Because I've got a project for you. The architects usually don't get to have any say in what the art is, but if I have any say, I want you to do it.
Okay, thank you so much. And also Kurt, I don't know if you're familiar with Kurt and Sue and all them from AIPP. They were just amazing to work with during the Be Well Mirror. They really gave us the autonomy, supported us, made sure we got all of the, we had to pull some permits to get the sidewalk closures, and they were just effortless with really helping us to successfully install that project. So.
Okay.
All right, I don't see, are there any other questions?
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, Mac, you have to wait in line till after, and you work with John also on that mural for the line first, and then you can work with the city, Mac.
Rudy, go ahead.
Yeah, just get a number. Just get a number and get it. But no,
I've got her info.
Yes.
Raisin, before you get away, I noticed on the chat that one of our members, Siva, indicated that he has some, I don't know, maybe some experience and our interest. Siva, if you're still on, can you comment on that, please?
Yeah. Thank you, Rudy. So yeah, hi Raisin, I'm Siva here. I mean, it's long time back. I used to do things like this, not as a pro, but for fun, time pass. So I just like to know, can I come down wherever your current ongoing work you're doing in Austin City? I'll meet you and we can talk.
Yes, absolutely. We actually have, where's the Lions Club located? Do you guys have an area?
We have an address and a website, but as far as an office, I'm not sure that we have a physical office
right now. Okay. Well, I think I might have got y'all's place mixed up with another club that's right next to the new mural that we have, but it's probably another club. But the ongoing SIVA that we're doing right now is on E.M. Franklin and between MLK and Maynard, and we have an unveiling event May the 16th. So if you can share with John your contact information, John will send out the invitation for all you guys are invited to come. So that's our current project right now. We actually have an unveiling coming in a week and a half. So you can come out and talk to me and we can talk about possible other projects that we could do to collab together.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, Leonor, if you'll help me kind of scan.
I don't think there's any other questions. Is there any other questions, guys? No.
Well, let me first thank John for making this program available to us, and thank Raisin for a
John.
wonderful presentation.
I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Raisin, again for your time and for your wonderful efforts in helping our community.
Thank you, Rudy.
I think your heart is just showing very clearly here on the screen. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
All
guys.
right.
Too.
Well, with that, and everyone I think has had a moment to ask your questions. Thank you again, everybody. We already adjourned the meeting. So Chuck or Leonor, whoever's hosting, we'll turn it back to you, and we'll be leaving the screen here.